G'day, brothers and sisters. I hope you are all pumped for update 7. I sure am. There are so many good things in it, including a number of gun perk reworks, and of course, the prestige ranks. On top of that, I'm really looking forward to my favorite class, the Vanguard, getting their own champion kit, the Space Wolves champion, and all the customizations that we'll get as part of that. I'm also, and of course, looking forward to getting double melters to cook the enemies of the God Emperor. But, as usual, before we get into it, I have to read some boring stuff from the Imperial Administratorium. This propaganda, I mean, as I say, guidance. Yes, guidance and advice. Of course, it's going to be advice. It's strongly considered before listening to the rest of this video. Please, if you enjoy this video, help me to grow this channel. Please do hit that like and subscribe. I would truly love to hear your thoughts and feedback on this gun and everything else you have to say about the perks, etc, etc. With that brief out of the way, brothers and sisters, your scheduled broadcast of information from the Imperium's Ministry of Intelligence, me, shall continue. Alright, what's changed? Damage. Well, nothing. I mean, come on, do you think that would buff this monster of a gun? No. But you know what they did instead? Gave us another Melta. Well, dear brothers and sisters, there is the blessing from the Emperor himself that we no longer just have one Melta, but we have two. Yes, we have two. And as I have learned from a brother Bloodraven, who told me that 2 is definitely better than more, and if you can take more than one, then take more than one and take them with you. Don't just necessarily look at them, take them. I don't know why or how he learned this fact, but I definitely agree with him that taking 2 melters in this instance is only a win. Alright, brothers and sisters, with that in mind, all we really need to do is talk about the melter perks. If you are interested in what class build you might use with the Vanguard, then I suggest you look at my vampire build guide, which you can look at the top corner of this video. It fits perfectly with a double melter build. Alright, so let's get stuck into it, brothers and sisters. We're going to look at the melter perk tree and see what has changed. Now, as always, whenever I look at the perk tree of a weapon, I like to go from left to right, starting with the top row. Alright, so looking at the top row, we don't really have many changes, but to be honest, the top row was actually pretty good. We just have a slight change to retaliation. It is basically a 5-second increase to what happens when you get a perfectly timed dodge. You will deal 25% more damage, with it now being at 10 seconds. Very good. Doesn't sound like much, but actually what it does mean is you can almost pretty much be in retaliation the whole time because of 10 seconds. The chances when you're playing in the higher difficulties of constantly having to dodge and that being there is quite high. And it's actually also really good when you are versing those extremists and also the terminus level enemies, because you're obviously going to need to do a fair bit of dodging there. Very good little change, going to allow you to get at least 2 to 3 melter shots off before you need to worry about another perfectly timed dodge. All right, where we get most of the changes now from here, brothers, is the bottom row. The decisive reload being the first one. Wow, what a first one to get. So that one is a really good perk. Basically now, where every time we kill a Majoris, we're going to get ourselves 1 ammo back. Doesn't sound like much, but as you play in the higher difficulties, you will find killing Majoris is just something you do at a very, very regular interval. So you will get a lot of ammo back. However, one caveat to be aware of, brothers and sisters, is that there's maybe a bug. I don't know. I don't know if this is actually by design, and maybe it is because usually a lot of these kind of weapon perks require that the gun is being used. If you want to get this ammo, you need to have the weapon in your arms when you're going into the execute. Otherwise, you will not get an ammo increase. So bear that in mind, brothers and sisters, especially when you have no ammo in there and it automatically switches you to your pistol. But keep that in mind. All right, move across. The next one, we got rapid health. Well, we actually had it swapped in. Rapid health is a lot better than what we had before, which was basically just giving us a free reload, which is, I think, almost pointless. Yes, the reload can take a little bit, and you can, sometimes you want it really quickly, but really, if you're rolling around maneuvering, the reload isn't going to be the issue that you're facing. When you are low in health, you want to be able to get those kill those Minoris and get something for it. And so rapid health has been moved here, and I think this perk is a really good one. We've seen it elsewhere, but I think it's much better here for the Vanguard with the Melta. And like I said, the free reload I considered basically useless. Killing 10 enemies. If anyone's played enough with the Melta, you know this is easy peasy. We're gonna do this all the time, brothers and sisters. This is what happens when you have the Melta. That's why you take the Melta, because you know you can kill lots of them, and you want to keep getting those kills to get the health, and you want to be also looking at how you get your armor. And don't forget, remember that grappling to an enemy, even if it's Minoris, will get you 1 armor segment if you have chosen that with your prestige perks. But actually, that segues for the next perk right along, called Trick Shot. Killing 5 enemies with 1 shot restores 1 armor segment. Cooldown is 30 seconds. How about that? Instead of having before, which we had, which was 2 perks that basically reduce the time in which our armor could recharge naturally by 0.5 seconds each time, we now have a way of just getting a whole armor segment back. So it's almost like the same thing. I think that this Trick Shot is a much better way to consistently get that armor segment restored. And yes, it's got a cooldown, unlike the 0.5 second one, but I actually found this was a lot easier for it to trigger and for me to get it back than I had before. So I really like this one. But you know, look, now we have an excuse, brothers and sisters. If any of us who have played Vanguard long enough, we know that sometimes when we're actually aiming to get the Majoris or the Extremist, that we sometimes grapple into a Minoris. Well, I mean, I've never done that. I mean, I'm only talking about from what someone else told me. I have never done that. Never, ever, ever would you catch me on my stream doing this. But now, anyway, if I were to do it, I could tell you, if you were there judging me and saw me doing that, I could say, well, you know what? I was below 30% health and I grappled into a large group of them. I now got 1 segment back from my grapnel, killed them all, got me 10% health, and I increased my armor as well. So yeah, that was obviously a big brain play, really, obviously, of course. Yeah, so that is a really helpful perk. The rest here don't really change. Got fast reload. I don't care about reload speed, really, to be honest, brothers and sisters. And I don't really worry about if I'm reloading. I don't lose control with hits. Waste of time. The only thing that really changes now from here is elusive fire. With elusive fire, we just it now is increased. Instead of it being a range increase, we're now going to get a fire rate increase by 25%. Look, with the Melta, with the Vanguard, and the amount of ammo I have, even with the higher ammo variant, I actually don't really care too much about the fire, the rate of fire for it. It doesn't really bother me that much. Because if my rate of fire was higher, I'm more likely to accidentally, shoot it more times. I mean, when you're perfectly dodging, obviously that might mean that you're playing against an extremist. So getting those extra 2 or 3 shots in really quickly, especially when you compare it or you take it back to where you get the extra health. You want to try and kill more if you're trying to get that as well. There's a few factors where I could see it being useful, but I really don't. I tried it with both, and I really didn't really see the benefit of it. And I dodged a lot. I really just didn't see the benefit of the fire rate increase. Yes, it went up, but it was really it was a half of a shot really faster, and I wasn't really doing much more than I needed to do already. So it didn't solve really any problems that I have. So look, that's everything that changes, brothers and sisters, there with the perk tree. But what do I actually run with when I run with the Vanguard? Well, I don't go all along the bottom, all along the top when I do the Melta rifle. I have done that pretty much with some of the other guns, the other bolt weapons, because actually they sometimes make a lot of sense going just in all the one path, and the benefit of going up and then losing back one at the end really wasn't worth it. So, but this one, effective range increases by 1 meter. I don't really care. I'm usually getting in close, so I don't really care about losing one, and I don't really care about this one either. Again, a fire rate increase of 10%. To me, these are kind of meh. Don't need to worry about them. Love to hear your thoughts though, brothers and sisters. Love to hear them. I just don't think that it's worth it, but please do tell me. So what I normally would choose here in this situation is I would do this. Go all along here, 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 all along here. And then what I get at the end result of that is basically one Melta round per Majora's kill. I'm going to get 10% health regeneration when I'm lower than 30% health when I kill 10 or more enemies in rapid succession. Pretty easy to do with a Melta rifle. We've all been there. We know that that's just going to happen very easily if you play Melta and Vanguard long enough and at the higher difficulties. But if you haven't, it is going to happen. Trust me. They didn't put it there for no reason. Armor segment, when I'm killing 5 more, again, something that's going to happen very, very often, very easily. I get 10% extra terminus damage. Really quite helpful when you're the Vanguard, especially when you go grappling up there to the Zoanthrope or the Neurothrope. Doing that little bit extra damage always goes a long way. But it doesn't end there as well with this perk build that I've gone with. I basically gone with an extra 10% of damage on top of that. So I'm going to be doing another 10% damage to those terminus and just every other level type. I'm also going to give myself a little bit of extra ammo, but I'm going to get as well another 10% more damage if I hit them after I've reloaded. And don't forget, I'm going to get a bonus 25% damage. Where was it? Here. That's it there. After perfectly timed dodge, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. That's one of the new ones we talked about where they increase the timer on it. So we're basically getting a lot of the new perks, except for this one, which like I said, I think is useless. This is much better. I would rather have more damage than a higher fire rate, because that's why I'm here. Heavy hitting. That's what I'm doing as a Vanguard. And then look, I get a fire rate increase there, 10% anyway. But look, brothers and sisters, I don't think there is really any benefit to a lot of these other perks. Going along the bottom, you can get extra damage, you can get ammo recovery, you can get health recovery by splitting it this way. Brothers and sisters, I think this is the best way to run it. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions. All right, brothers and sisters, let's go have a look at the Inferno pistol and what I chose and why I chose it. So I went along the bottom. Perpetual range increases it by 1 meter. There's another one here for that as well, which is another meter increased. It brings the range up to 3 meters, which matters a fair bit in the pistol, especially when you're already running with a Melta rifle. Range is already something that you don't have, so getting a little bit extra here with your pistol, quite handy. Although you should be aware that the damage drop off with a multi-melta pistol, even though you may hit them, won't sometimes do any damage to the Minoris. So just be aware of that. Braced reload, you are immune to heavy hits while reloading. Cool. I don't care. Actually, this is a useless perk. So just you don't worry about that one. Move on. Increased capacity. Maximum ammo reserve is increased by this weapon by 20%. Really helpful. It's not much, but it's something. It's a couple extra shots, which is what you're going to need when you're running 2 melters. Ammo is not something you get back easily, so getting another way of making use of when your health drops below 30% to give you some ammo for this weapon, really, really helpful. Great perk. Really love this one. Next one, extra shot. Magazine increases by 1 additional cartridge. Love this one as well, because usually when you're whipping out that multi-melta pistol, when you've got a Melta, you're obviously trying to deal with the small Minoris, and you're trying to save the Melta rounds for all the Majoras or higher. So you want to have quite a few shots here available. This is actually good with both either the high damage or the high ammo capacity variants, for a simple reason that you get that extra shot. Really good. What I also love is getting more armor back. When I'm the Vanguard, getting armor segments back very easily is highly critical to surviving at the higher difficulty levels, so killing 5 enemies is not that hard to do even with this pistol, since we're going to be up close most of the time. So this is a great little perk. That's why I went all the way that way, and also I went up here and I grabbed myself the extra 10% damage against Terminus level enemies. Now you could argue for this one here, the damage increased by 50%. Look, it is good, has its uses. I've seen it, I've had a lot of fun with it too. Definitely worthwhile trying out, see if you like it. Overall, I recommend though that the extra shot and the trick shot just gives you that much more than, well, what my thoughts are of it on the battlefield. I choose the ammo variants of both guns because I believe one of the biggest problems that you'll have with the Vanguard with this double Melta build is ammo. You really will face a lot of problems with ammo. And unless you get really good at your ammo management, and you have to remember and you have to learn how to do that, you're going to run into problems. So just be aware of that. It is still a lot of fun, but take the ammo build. Otherwise, unless you're really good with the ammo management or you're playing at a difficulty where you're going to get lots of ammo boxes, then, dude, go with the ammo build. Go with the ammo build. But let's go talk about what it's like on the battlefield from what my experiences are and what my thoughts are, because there is some caveats to it. I tell you what though, Melta with the Vanguard to me for a longest time has felt so good, so natural, so normal. It is the way I have played Vanguard pretty much from day one. I loved it. It took me a long time to convince me to move to the bolt weapons, and they had a lot of fixes and reworks, all that sort of stuff, but I've only really just started to enjoy the bolt weapons over the Melta. The Melta is, I always tell people when they first start out playing the game, play with the Melta with Vanguard. You're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna live out that power fantasy, the reason why you got this game to play it to begin with. It is a lot of fun. Now, carrying 2 Meltas on the battlefield means all we are doing is we're going to be up close, and we're not going to have as much ammo as most of our brothers and sisters. Sometimes we were already fighting for it beforehand. Now we're really fighting for that ammo with our brothers and sisters. So just be aware that you may need to not take those ammo boxes, or you may need to be aware that you have to go long periods of time where you may not have any ammo and you will have to use melee. The other thing is too, because of this, and because you're mostly close range, unless you've got grapnel charge, those little menorahs shooting you, you're not going to be able to do much to them. You're going to be basically just rolling away and hoping that those little buggers that are shooting all their green juice all over you, that you can just dodge them. And you can't help much of your teammates from a relatively medium distance you could with the pistol, Inferno, or the bolt pistol. Well, now you're going to have to do it, get up close. Not always a bad thing. You might want to, now we have some benefits to grappling to the Minoris that I talked about earlier. However, you just have to be aware that if you're playing Absolute and sometimes there's a timer and essentially how you get through areas, otherwise you're going to get slammed, running back to kill that one Minoris, or trying to kill that one Minoris that's out of the way of where you need to go, it's not really going to be worth it anymore. You're going to have to ignore them, or you're going to have to, hopefully one of your bots or your brothers and sisters are going to help you out and kill that Minoris, or you just ignore it. So you'll just have to be aware that you won't be able to kill everything unless you want to make that effort when you're playing at the higher difficulties. But the multi-melter build is a lot of fun. It's all non-stop fun, I should say. It is just high intensity, packed damage, killing waves. Like, you literally will run headlong into a big group of them, because when you do, you get the best bang for buck with your Melta rifle and Inferno pistol. That's just what it is. And you're built for close combat as well. So you literally are the tip of the spear when you play Vanguard with the Melta build. So a lot of fun, but be aware of the ammo caveat, and that if you want to play at the higher difficulties, this is something that you have to get really comfortable doing and being without ammo, and that you won't be able to contribute, which can be very painful in a situation, say the Neurothrope, for example, when you're already struggling to do much to help the team before, and now you're doing, when you just had the one melt and then you had your bolt pistol, you are going to struggle even more to be helpful in those situations. Again, we play this game for fun. We don't necessarily play it for trophies. There's no tournaments to be won. So play how you want to play, brothers and sisters. Play what is fun for you, what you enjoy, and what difficulty you like to play at. This is a fun build. Definitely try it out once in your lifetime of this game. You don't need to do it all the time, but have some fun with it, because it's possible to be done now, brothers and sisters. And on that note, I just want to say thank you all for watching. This is a really fun build that I've loved seeing, and it's going to be really fun seeing the heavy with it as well, having a multi-melt and an Inferno pistol. And I would love to hear your stories. So please share them in the comments if you've already done it, tested on the PTS, or if you are watching this after it has been released, please also share your comments and how you feel about this weapon. Remember, brothers, courage and honor, and for the Emperor.